boys and girls, welcome to Breakfast with the Brits. And whilst today we may be without some breakfast, we do have two Brits. I'm Des, this is Tim, and we're here once again for another episode to talk all kinds of shenanigans about things British, about things Siege, and a little bit of banter back and forth as we go. Now, Tim, I could sit here and ask you a very obvious question: how's your week gone so far? Instead, given this is a breakfast-themed show, what have you had for breakfast today?
Well, it's not gone well today, Des. I went down to the boulangerie. I wanted to get myself a pain au chocolat for breakfast. I love it whilst I'm here in Paris. French food, definitely up there. They didn't have any, Des. It was pain au chocolat without the au chocolat.
So just pain.
Just the pain.
Just the pain of no pain au chocolat. Go to figure. Now, you have brought along some delicacy snacks today, and last time it was crumpets. With no
well,
cheese
it's becoming
on,
a theme. Obviously, British food on Twitter, it's
beans on toast.
It's divisive, I think it's fair to say. So we thought we'd bring some British delicacies each time we do the show. Last time it was crumpets. This time, somebody suggested...
Fantastic.
I mean, we'll keep that in. Somebody suggested crisp sandwiches. Des threw the crisps partially all over the floor.
Roast chicken.
But I've brought us some crisp, or as we'd call them, crisp butties.
I don't call them crisp butties.
Crisp sandwich, crisp butty.
A butty is only what you get from the chippy with chips on. Chip butty.
What about a sausage butty? We're going down the rabbit hole again. But we've got crisp sandwiches. There's gonna be a lot of people horrified. I'm absolutely certain.
Let's give it a whirl.
I can't resist.
That's getting finished before we go home. But I love
Lovely. Absolute delicacy.
What would Gordon Ramsay say?
Oh, he'd be having a nightmare right now. I think even he has a crisp butty every now and
It
then.
reminds me, you get back from school and your mom's just like, you haven't got dinner for an hour or two yet, but I'm hungry. Have a crisp sandwich. All right then. Bit of butter, slices of bread, half a packet of crisps, and the rest of on the side of your plate to eat down. Lovely.
People around the world are horrified right now.
Our aim is to please and infuriate in equal measure
and educate.
today. And
who knew the British were eating crisp sandwiches?
Who knew we ate this kind of stuff? It was like me and the egg soldiers I put on Twitter the other day. Just, yeah. I have to clean that floor later on, that's for sure. So let's have a look at some tweets then, Ace. We always put out a tweet after Playday 3 or 4 where we ask what people around the world, or at least those watching EUL, think will happen by the end of the stage. And I imagine you've got a few spicy ones for us, Ace.
Well, yeah, we've got some lined up. Thank you, everybody, for coming back to us.
That crisp sandwich is so good, by the way.
It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, the roast chicken, for anybody wondering, the crisps are roast chicken flavoured, and it was beautiful. So we had plenty of responses. Thank you, everybody, for coming back to us. That's what we want. We love the community engagement. The first one that I picked out was Sol Iban Clark.
Sol.
Came in with quite a few different scenarios, but the bit that I want to pick up on particularly, top 4, BDS, Rogue, Empire, Virtus Pro. Now then, it's important to say we're just coming into the final play day at the point of recording this. Virtus Pro looking like a real outlier at the minute.
But with a spot also to push in, right?
Potential.
Potential is the kind of big word to put there, right? But 3 of the 4 are right, at least.
Done very, very well.
BDS, Rogue, Empire, they're all in there.
Also worth noting, got the relegations correct as well. Heroic for auto-relegation, secret for... So pretty good, but it's
Sol's
just that
just
Virtus Pro element.
Future reader. So if we're going by what Sol has said, VP are going to be there at the end of it all and going to the major.
Well, it certainly looks that way. Whew. But do we think that's possible? On the spot, do you think that's likely or possible?
I think it's possible. Is it likely? No. My top 4 personally are BDS, Empire, Rogue and Kavana.
Okay.
But Vitality and VP are both there with an outside chance, as they say. In fact, I think if Vitality won in overtime, right?
Yes.
If they'd won in regulation yesterday, different conversation we're having because they're tied on points against Rogue. They play Rogue on the final play day. And by the time you guys see this show, we'll already know who's made it. But right now, we're sitting here thinking, maybe, maybe not. We've got to wait 6 days to find out.
Sorry, I'm still laughing about the crisps.
I'll eat them. I'll do it.
The next tweet came in from Chills Ellis. Came in with slightly different top 4. BDS, Rogue, Vitality and Na'Vi. Now, we know that Na'Vi can't make it in at this point, so that is all down to that vitality pick for Chills Ellis. Do you think we're going to be correct there?
I think if they beat Rogue, they take the spot from Rogue.
There's a reason that it's been picked up as Game of the Day, because that is going to be a pure spice in that game.
Absolutely. I think if Vitality win in overtime against Rogue, they guarantee themselves in top 4 as far as I'm aware, because they have the head-to-head against Rogue. They're on the same number of points. So basically, victory by any means for Vitality means they make it. There's a good chance, but this is Vitality on the last day of the stage. We've seen how that works before. Ace have been there a few stages in a row, it feels like.
That's the big gamble for me at this point. On that tweet particularly, whether you're going to get that call right comes down to whether Vitality are able to lock that down. Like you say, we've seen them be there before. We've seen them struggle. Will they get it over the line this time and get themselves to the LAN? Next one that I've got comes in from Ankule. Apart from BDS, none of the Mexico major teams from EU will make it to the November major. So that was BDS, Empire, G2, Na'Vi.
I mean, 2 out of 4 so far. G2 and Na'Vi. I think G2 don't have it. No, I think neither have a chance, do they, now after yesterday's game's concluded?
They're done.
They're done. So 2 out of 4, right? But Empire, they are currently 2nd place, I think. It is very unlikely they can be knocked out. They're going to stay in the top 4. But still, 2 out of 4 ain't bad, given, G2 and Na'Vi just a few months ago were arguably top 4 European teams. Not a bad shout.
The final one that I've got for you. Another interesting one. I know that you'll like this one.
Oh, great.
I know that you'll enjoy this one. So it's come from Alaskan. Rogue and Kavana will make it to the major and will be the 2 European teams to go the furthest.
Ooh, I like that. Because
I knew you'd like that one.
Yeah, Rogue and Kavana are the 2 teams that I've pegged to be in the top 4. So BDS, Empire, Rogue, Kavana were my top 4 to go to the major. I think at the minute they're playing some of the most entertaining Siege. Kavana are a bit up and down in some games, it feels, but Rogue, the explosive aggression, especially on attack, we saw them kind of falter on the defense a bit yesterday, but their attack, even against BDS, looked phenomenal. So I'm quietly excited if Rogue do make it. Again, not yet guaranteed. Will be by the time the video comes out, and maybe we'll listen to major, I don't know. But Rogue, I'm really excited to see, especially in how they do. And personally, for a fellow Brit in Leon, really excited for him to get back to a LAN again.
Absolutely. I think, seeing how the rest of the world's teams deal with Rogue, going to be very, very interesting to say the least. And could be a few shocks and surprises in the wings there. So thank you everybody who got in touch. We'll be doing this each stage going forward, hopefully. So keep an eye on Des and I's Twitter. We'll ask, as we always do in the final few weeks, for your hot takes, for how you think things are going to end up. And then we'll have a quick chat here on Breakfast with the Brits, and we'll pick out a few of the best ones.
Will indeed. So with all that done and wrapped up, it's time for us to have a chat with Mr.Officer and Sloth from Kavana Gaming. We'll have a good little interview with them before we jump into our famed quiz segments. Na'Vi, last time round we had Doki and Nath, 1 out of 6 each. Can the Kavana boys do better? Let's go and find out. So here we are with the boys from Kavana Gaming. We've got Mr. Officer, the dad of the team, and Sloth with us. Boys, thank you so much for joining us. Really glad we get to speak to you a little bit today. Mr. Officer, I'll start with you. How's your week gone so far?
My week has been good, thank you for asking. Stressful, but yeah, good.
Stressful because you've got to look
yourself?
after Sloth, or?
I always need to look after Sloth, but that's my job, so I take it with a smile, yeah.
And so you have to. What about your side, Sloth, as well? How's your week been?
It's been alright, just, it would have been nicer to get more points, but other than that, alright, yeah.
It is what it is the only real way I can describe it. Ace, where do you want to start with this one then? Because there's tons we want to ask you guys, and I'll defer to my buddy over here to ask the first.
There is, and I'll throw this one to you, Mr. Officer. You've now come in towards the end of your first year inside of EUL. What have been the biggest lessons that you've learned, maybe the biggest surprise?
Well, don't go overtime. That's my biggest lesson, isn't it?
That's a stage 3 lesson especially.
Definitely.
I think generally going into like qualifying for EU League and the way we did it as well, and the rapid the time that we did it in, we came in really humble in terms of like we don't go in like, obviously we want to win, obviously we want to be the best, but we have to be realistic as well. So having that realistic thought process going into it, we knew that it's going to be hard. We do not know how these teams are playing when it matters the most, and the thing that maybe we sit with learning now is more about ourselves, how we perform and how we react, how we end up feeling when we lose. Those are the moments where you really need to like be able to conquer in a way. And so it's been a learning process all this way. So I wouldn't say like it's a one thing or another that we're sitting with like, yeah, we definitely learned that, but we learned a lot about ourselves. It's not done yet. We still have a game, but we learned a lot about ourselves, our limits, also our strength, and I think that's gonna be what forms us into that more consistent team going into season 2.
It feels interesting because you can almost lean on Sloth a bit here as well. You spoke a bit about the mentality. Sloth, I heard you came up with a really interesting little chant before the Vitality game, right?
Don't
Don't tell me you've got it already.
I don't remember. Well, I do them every week, so I don't know which one the Vitality one was.
Are you the dedicated chant maker in the team, or?
Well, it was Officer, and then I started doing it this season, and I don't know, it's just stuck. Yeah, really. I make all the chants up before. Depends how serious they get or not. Sometimes they're targeted at specific players. Sometimes it's just the team in general. Sometimes it's for us. I don't know. Just for a bit of fun, isn't it? Really, it's a bit of a laugh and a joke for the boys before the game starts as we're going into it.
Yeah, and is that the kind of thing that you've put in place as well, Mr. Officer, when you came into the team and started working with the boys, trying to say, right, this is our ritual at the start, it gets us in the right mind space, it gets us all pepped up for it? Or is that something the boys have just kind of run away with and now made their own?
Oh, I think like coming into the team, obviously, you know, I was the big brother just because I'm old. And we applied that pretty early on, having that chant and whatnot. Not because like we're superstition or something, but it's a nice way of like starting off the game, believing in each other, making sure that like you go into official game with nerves and whatnot, and it just helps. It just does. We're simple as humans, and especially us as an emotional team. And from there, you know, the boys have taken great responsibility of it. And I said this pretty early to the team as well. I know I have done a good job when they're starting doing my shit into their stuff, because that's the time I want to get kicked one day, you know. Then I can, you know, I know I have done my job and they don't need me anymore. And that's in a crazy way, it's true. It's actually true. I don't hope I get kicked, but when they start doing things and picking up the things that I hopefully learned them as young adults, that's when I can look back and say, okay, you know what, my time is done. Time for me to move on and be a more boomer than I am, and I can see these boys blossom. So
settle down in retirement,
like that.
nice.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, you know, you mentioned there that the sort of big brotherly role, being a boomer. We know obviously you're quite open about your family life outside of Siege as well, Mr. Officer. I'm in the same position. I've got a young daughter myself and a wife back at home. How do you find the balance between the time that needs dedicating to something like Kavana and your family life at home?
Extremely hard. And I think that is something that many of us can relate to. You know, I wish I was 19. I wish I lived at home and my mom was coming with the dinner and shit, you know. But that's not the case. Before joining Kavana as well, like Sloth was the one that got me into the team. We had a long talk about exactly that, because me joining a team, investing the amount of time you need to do, that wasn't an easy thing. My girlfriend basically told me, like, you've been grinding this game since 1st December 2015. If you don't make it now, you don't have a family to come home to. That is reality. I'm not even joking when I say that. That was the message I got. And for me to take that, you know, that chance of saying, okay, please, just give me one last try
Please,
with
just
this
one
team.
more,
Let's
one
see
more.
what we can do. Yeah, just one more. That was a, you know, huge thing for my girlfriend to accept. And what she did is she supported me, and thank God, you know, we did the right steps that we needed, and here we are. But it's been a lot of sacrifice, and it still is. Where I come out in a good way right now is that my boys, they absolutely love me, and I know that. They show me the respect that I need, which means that when I need time to be with family and whatnot, because life is life, they never give me a hard time about it. And I think I have that same respect back to them again when enough is enough for them. And that's how we roll with things, and it's a great environment to be in. So I'm lucky.
Yeah, I think, as you say, it's an important message to pick up on, and it's the same for everybody in different ways. But the sacrifices aren't always just made for ourselves. It's it's the family and it's everybody else behind the scenes that makes the sacrifices as well. And they all deserve a big shout in supporting everybody who has made it. Really,
you've almost kind of got us on a perfect transition there on the note of kind of support, right? Because we'd be remiss to not talk about, before we go into our quiz segment, about the one big change that has come through to Kavana recently. Benja has joined, and it's almost like that meme where, where the guy's like, such and such is no longer my best friend, now X is my best friend. That has basically been Sloth getting rid of Gorgona, and now we've got Benja slotting in alongside Sloth to be the kind of entry player for the team. And Sloth, on your side, let's not beat about the bush. This has been a tough year for yourself in terms of performances at points, looking really strong this stage. Has that kind of rejuvenation in the team in bringing Benja in given you a bit of a new lease of life, in your opinion?
I think that for as long as I've been on Kavana, we've never really had a true second entry. And I've sort of had to take the whole weight on my shoulders. It was a point where, if we go back to the old days when we were in CL and when we qualified for Pro League, I was playing really well at the time, but I think when we got into Pro League, a lot of pressure came on my shoulders to be this big entry, compete and try and be up there with the big names, without realising that I'm not as experienced. I didn't start the game until year 2, season 2. So I haven't got the same amount of play time that the other lads have got. But I think bringing Benja in has definitely helped me. Having somebody that I know when I'm not having my best game can also bring it to the table. On top of Gorg and Grizz, obviously. Gorg and Grizz do well fragging. Obviously, Ralph does well in his support role, but Gorg and Grizz do well fragging. But the days that I wasn't playing as well in the past season, we were struggling. So having Benja in now, I feel like it's definitely helping us with that, because it's brought up our gun skill to a whole new level. And then also the mental in the team. As much as we might have been losing recently, hasn't been this high in the past 6 months. It's just climbing and climbing and climbing.
It's a journey and a process, right? Lots to learn along the way by the sounds of it. And there's a journey of our own we now need to go on to, because there's going to be a quiz that we're going to take you guys through to see who's really got the bigger brain in this team. All right then, guys, time for the showdown that really matters. It's not about your results in EUL. It's about who walks that way on top after this quiz. We've got 5 questions for you each. Some about Siege, some about the other person, and you've got 10 seconds to answer each question. Ace is your quiz master. I'm keeping time. If we get to that 10-second mark and you haven't given an answer, you lose, you sacrifice your point, and maybe we'll give it to the other side to have a guess.
We'll see how we're going.
You don't win anything for it. It's just a bit of fun.
I mean, we had to with Doki and Nath.
Honestly.
We were struggling for correct answers, so we had to try our best, bless them.
It was an absolute nightmare. It's the only way I can really describe it. So you both ready for this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Sloth, you couldn't sound any more excited if I paid you to be, could you? Yeah. Looking forward to it.
I woke up an hour and a half ago, alright? I'm still working up. I got my coffee, I'll be alright.
Alright, see how we do. Right then, Ace, Mr. Quizmaster, away you go.
Question number 1, we'll start with you, Mr. Officer. So your first question will be, how many of the competitive map pool maps, as they stand at the minute, have got a bedroom in them? How many of the maps have got a bedroom?
Time starts now.
Boom, brain down. I just have to guess. What's my time? 3 seconds left?
Yep.
5.
Correct. What a guess. No bedroom in Bank, no bedroom in Cafe, but Oregon, Coastline, Villa, Clubhouse, and which one haven't I named?
Did you mention Chalet in there?
Chalet. They're the 5 that have all got bedrooms.
How could you not mention Chalet? It's like our favourite map.
I know. I always struggle
Tragic.
to just list them as a complete 7 for some reason.
Me too, normally, to be fair.
But yeah, those are the 5. Well done, Mr. Officer.
1-0, let's go.
1-0. So, question number 1 for Sloth. In what year was Siege released?
2015.
Straight in, no
half a
messing about.
second.
I've toned them down a bit after Dorky Nath, you see. We're always working off the previous quiz, but...
If this is too easy, you can blame Navi for it, basically.
Yeah, basically. There's a couple in there that get a bit more. So, Mr. Officer, your second question. Which operation saw Outback added into the map pool? What was the name of the operation?
Wow.
I think I know this one. If he doesn't get it, can I guess?
3 seconds.
It got Outback in.
Yeah.
That brought Outback in.
No, I have no
Time's
clue.
done.
And Mozzie and Gridlock as well. What do you think it was, Sloth?
Is it Parabellum?
No.
No.
No. It was Burnt Horizon.
Oh, yeah. Well, what's Parabellum then?
Parabellum was Villa.
Was that Maestro and Alibi as well?
Maestro and Alibi.
Yeah,
Miles
much
off
rather.
think.
Yeah.
From memory.
Oh,
Think.
right, yeah.
Sounds right.
It sounds right to me.
Yeah.
All right, and still 1-1,
So-
and that's 2 questions down.
Question number 2 for Sloth. On the Villa map, there is a hidden sculpture of which operator?
I mean, it makes sense if it's Maestro or Alibi, so we'll go with Maestro.
Time.
Incorrect. The correct answer is Tachanka.
Lord Chanka, come
The
on!
Lord
What?
Tachanka. If you
Where?
there's like a
In
block
art,
of pasta
inside
in art
art.
room. If you break it open, there's a statue of Tachanka inside it. It's a
He's
little
getting into a
Easter egg.
custom after this to go and find
He's
that
going
out.
straight into art room to just blast everything apart and find the Tachanka statue.
Unreal.
All right,
How can
1-1.
you not know that, Sloth? How can you not know that?
My brother, alright? Listen, alright? Calm it, alright? You didn't know how many bedrooms were in the competitive pool. You just had a guess.
I mean, he got it right.
You got it
Yeah,
right.
he had a shot in the dark. He had a 1 in 7 chance. Congrats for being lucky. Like,
Question number 3 for Mr. Officer. Which operator's gadget is also known as an artiller?
Time starts now.
So one of the gadgets has got a common name, but it's also known as an artiller.
Never heard that before, so I have
3
to guess
seconds.
again, I guess. A gadget that is called Artilla.
Yep.
A gadget called artiller.
Make you guess.
I have no clue. Sophia gadget.
Zafir? No, it is Kaid. It's the Artilla Electroclaw. Is his gadget. You see, it
Even
rings
Sloth was like,
bells.
what?
It looks like they've got as much of an idea about Kaid as Doki did after yesterday's play-day.
In the interview, he's just like, I got no idea what Sage is doing. I'm round them out killing people. I don't know what's going
I
on
don't know what he's
site."
doing with an Electroclaw.
Did you know that, Sloth?
no, I always think logically. Artillery sounds like artillery, so like Tachanka or something. You know what I mean? I
Well,
was
yeah,
like-
that was when I put it in. I thought we might go down that road. But right, question number 3 for Sloth. It's a multiple choice because it was a tough one. So I've given you a little multiple choice to try and ease things along.
Oh god.
In stage 2, we obviously saw Mr. Officer come in and play 2 games. In total, across those 2 maps, how many kills did Mr. Officer get? Was it 3, 7, or 15? How many kills did he get?
Time starts now.
Well, it's not 15. Like, it's not 15. And I believe he did better than 3, so we'll go with 7.
Gonna go middle of the road. It is correct,
Middle of the
Mr. Officer. 7 kills in EUL stage 2.
Good lad.
knows.
Straight in. Question number 4.
Had Sloth on his back then. God.
Question number 4 for Mr. Officer. And this one's about Sloth. This is where we start testing you as a team now. In which month is Sloth's birthday?
Oh, I know that. Me and
Confident?
Sloth, we go way back. This
Very
is
confident.
July.
July. Sloth?
Yeah, you're right.
He's
30th of July.
It is
Yeah,
July.
30th of July.
He's even got the date, yeah.
You got the date as well. Go on,
Got the
date.
date.
Date for extra half a point in case it comes to a tie.
Yep.
What's the date?
Yeah, he said it.
30th.
30th.
30th of
Impressive
July.
stuff.
Knows his boys.
Impressive stuff, certainly does. This is it. You know, he's putting his money where his mouth is, and
I've
I
already
like
lost
it.
count. Is that 2-2?
Yes.
2-2, isn't it?
Yes,
Right.
2-2. 2-2.
Two and a half, two. Yeah.
2.5. 2.
Yeah, 2.5 to 2.
Question number 4 for Sloth. How many children does Mr. Officer have?
2.
All right, and for the
It
bonus
is.
half point, can you name one of them?
Aaron.
Oh, he smashed it.
There we go.
Do you know the second
So-
one? I won't give you any more points. Show the name of the second child.
No, I can't do that. No, that's too new.
When we asked Mr. Officer beforehand, he said, I think he'll know one, but probably not the other.
And that was about
Yeah,
cool
no.
going of it. It's like, I don't expect anyone to know the second child's name.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
It's just he's had Aaron for a while, you know. So like I know Aaron's
That's it,
name.
yeah,
but
you
I
should
don't
be
know
there.
Go way
that.
back, yeah.
Yeah. Maggie.
Question number 5 for Mr. Officer. Final question now. And these last two are a little bit more difficult. They're a bit more tricky. Melusi, which was an operator that you used during Stage 2, Mr. Officer, uses the MP5 as primary weapon. But what is her alternative primary weapon to the MP5? What's her other option?
I have no clue. I'm gonna use a doki here. Hey, I might be a coach, but I'm more of a person coach. And when I have to frag, I frag for my team. That's all I know. I have no.
That's all.
To be honest with you, no one, full stop, plays Melusi without the MP5.
Well, I thought it's a tough. I know it was a tough. Don't worry, the other one's tough as well. It's even more tougher, and I'll explain why in a second. But the second option that she's got, Sloth, do you know it?
I'm pretty sure. Is it? I know it's a shotgun.
It is.
Is it the Frost shotgun?
It's the Super 90. Yeah. Well done, Frost. Well done, Sloth.
There you go.
Impressive
No
stuff.
way! I'm
It
gonna
is.
go check that out.
Yeah, because I
I
remember
looked
the
at
amount
it
of
this
times
morning.
that-
Don't
yeah.
worry, you can check it
I
all
think
you want.
Sloth's at 3, right? And Mr. Officer's now 2.5.
Sloth got the year. He didn't get the Villa question. He did get the 2 Mr. Officer questions. So he's at 3. Mr. Officer got the number of bedrooms
2.5 is
and
that?
yeah, July.
So you can't lose Sloth, but this one's to really take the glory now in the final question.
Oh, okay.
Pressure's off at this point. So,
Okay,
final
Dave.
question. Now, I've got to be honest, this was a question that was initially aimed at Gorgona, which we were obviously going to have Gorgona, but some power issues as Sloth has very kindly subbed in. But I haven't changed the final question because I didn't have time to. So, it's relating to Blitz. I picked up on Blitz because, of course, we've seen Gorgona taking the Blitz quite a few times. So, which 2 secondary gadgets can Blitz bring?
Hard breach and smokes. No, soft breach and smokes, sorry. Breach charge and smokes, yeah.
Absolutely spot on. I tell you what,
He's
Sloth,
smashed it.
you've been impressive with the in-game knowledge.
Currently
Smashed it.
the overall leader, I think, actually, in our quizzes. That's
Definitely. Best performance we've had in the quizzes so far.
it. 4, is that out of 5?
4 out of
You
5.
should have asked me. You should have asked me Officer's birthday, like. Nobody's expecting me to know that. I know his birthday, like. I know the date, yeah. I can work out the year from how old you are, like.
You probably know the hospital he was born in at this rate by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
This is what I love to see, though, because obviously we know that the Kavana team operate as a little bit of a family, but money where the mouth is, they know each other, and I love to see it.
Yeah, following your boy's journey is always amazing, to be fair. And from the outside in, like, maybe your content really helps with this, I'm sure, Mr. Officer, but it always looks like it is a real big family unit, and we love to see that kind of thing in Siege. So, from us at the very least, a massive thank you for all that you guys do. It really does make you guys look like a great team and really help strengthen the league as well. So, thank you for that. Any final words you want to say there, Race, before we bid farewell to our guests?
Just thank you for a better performance than Navi, if I'm honest. It was a rough one.
Look, basically, all we're saying is, if EUL was judged on quiz performance, you
Top
guys
of
would
the-
be top right
top
now,
of
and
the
Navi
table
would be
right
bottom.
now. Yep, top of the table.
Yeah. I don't know.
Not too bad. Is there anything you guys want to say before you go? You first, Mr. Officer?
No, I just appreciate you guys for inviting us. It's always a pleasure to give something back to the community, and also share our thoughts and whatnot. And it was a fun quiz as well. So yeah, you made my day a little bit extra nice today. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
More than welcome. Sloth, your side?
I mean, I appreciate you having some of the boys for the interview. Obviously, Gorg's meant to be here but he's having power issues because I think they're still struggling on how to use the internet in Bulgaria. So, yeah, thank you for having me on short notice, and it was enjoyable.
Well, there you go. Thanks then, boys, and we'll hopefully catch you again on a future episode. But until then, farewell. Lovely opportunity to talk to Kavana Gaming there. It feels like the more we see from the Mace, whether it's content on social media, whether it's the interviews post-game, or just their general demeanour, that that positivity still carries through no matter where you see them.
Honestly, they're a team that I love to follow. I think they are, like you say, very, very enjoyable. Great content coming out of them. It looks like they're having a good time. And the thing is, we've said this before. Yes, everybody's here to do a job. All the players have got the career and the professional aspect to think about, but teams that have fun perform well, and we're seeing it from Kavana in the server as well.
Did you see Officer's video before they played against Rogue, where he was imitating all 5 players?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm crying, oh, so big and strong. And I was just like, oh my God, he's really going for hell for leather for this, isn't he?
It just piles a bit of spice on, and the thing is, he doesn't mind coming away and taking a loss if it happens. He's willing to set himself up for it, and the thing is, it just adds that little bit of flavour as well.
He gets it perfect where, like, you talk a bit of smack before the game, and then you're either graceful in defeat or humble in victory,
whichever it is.
all that. Now, I used a phrase in there, hell for leather, I realised at the start, that many are probably like, How does that make any kind of sense? And that's almost perfect because we're now coming into our British language phrases segment. We go through some words that you may hear from time to time and you have zero idea what they mean. Well, fear not. Professor Ace and his trusty assistant Desertu are here to talk you through a couple. The first word being humdinger. Now, this is one that you love using every now and then, Ace.
I love a good humdinger. In siege terms, if we want to liken it to anything, it's like a barn burner.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't have to be a lot of rounds, though. That's the difference with a humdinger. It can be a team that comes out and absolutely smashes somebody to pieces. It's just something that's exciting, a little bit unexpected, maybe, that just... It goes big,
but the thing
one way
is,
or another.
You would call every game a humdinger.
That's because I love Siege. I just get excited.
Well,
I don't care.
No. So you can love something, but just because you love something, you can't call everything about it a humdinger. There's going to be the
maybe
odd
9
stinker.
out of 10. Maybe 9 out of 10 games would be a good humdinger. The thing is, we're spoilt in EUL. We're absolutely ruined, and we do get a lot of games that I would put up into that tier because our teams are all so good throughout the league.
There's always something spicy in them, right, is the way I look at it. There's always something fun and exciting about it. So I'll give you that, although maybe it wouldn't quite go 9 out of 10. But look, we'll appease Ace. We'll say 9 out of 10. The second one is something I think I said a couple of broadcasts ago. And at the time, I was like, people won't know what that means. Raz.
Raz. So
R-A-Z.
You said it in line with the Twitch drone. You said he's just razzing around with the Twitch drone.
It was Grizzly, actually, because Grizzly was like, I don't care if it dies, I'm driving it through sight and I'm taking down as many gadgets as I can with me. Yeah, to razz around like in a car or a vehicle of some description, I'm razzing it around the corner. You're going around really fast, quite uncontrollably, maybe a little bit aggressively.
Maybe.
If you can drift it, bonus points, absolutely.
Drifting the Twitch drones around the corners.
Imagine if there was drifting in the game and you could drift drones around.
Bonus points for a nice drift into an ADS shot.
Imagine if you could, like, remember a really old advert where, like, someone's trying to parallel park and they kind of, like, drift the car in, so it's
Just
like
do like
perfect.
a handbrake turn into it.
Yeah, I've no idea how they get out of the parking spot once they're kind of just perfectly in, but at least it's parts at the time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That was the focus. And then the third word, we do this all the time, don't we? We have a little chin wag every now and then, don't we?
Yeah, and it only occurred to me when you said it this morning that that's probably something that maybe the world doesn't know.
They
what
need
we're
to
on
know the
about,
word chin
and
wag.
They need to know the word chin wag.
Because, I mean, I didn't even think about it until I said the word really slowly just a second ago. I've never once in my life thought about it. It's because your chin's wagging.
It's literally, it is as literal as that. You're
It's
having
doing
a
a lot of
chat, you're
working.
talking. It tends to be, I'd say, it's not like, hi Des, you had a good day. That's not having a chin wag. It's sitting down and having a good natter, a good back and forward.
Natter's another one.
Probably.
See, now we're going down a rabbit hole. Natter, we'll go there as well as a little added extra. Natter is like...
Same as a chin wag. It's,
talk away.
It's having a talk, having a
I
discussion.
remember a really popular comedian in the UK, Lee Evans, once said, like, when people say, I'm just nip into the shop or I'm pop into the shop.
to the shop.
He's like, which one? When do you use which? Is a nip quicker than a pop? And I was like, that's a great question.
It certainly is.
We could be there all day going through these words, but there's a few for you. We've gone through humdinger, we've gone through raz and chinwag to close things out. There's some more added British words to your vocabulary. I hope that doesn't degrade the quality of your vocabulary, but maybe you understand us a little bit better with some of the words that we now might be saying in future. But with that all wrapped up, Ace, that's another episode done and dusted. We've had a good chat with Cabana. We've gone through some tweets. We've broadened horizons in vocabulary for a number of viewers. It's been a nice one again.
It always is. It's always a pleasure to sit there and have a chat, Des. And as you say, thank you to Cabana for getting involved. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll be back for more.
Wonder who we bring on next time and have a good chat with.
People should let us know.
Because we've got a nice break.
Who do you
want
to see?
Next one we'll do will be stage 1 of next year, most likely, like leading into EUL 2022.
Yeah.
A lot is going to change by then. I'm sure we'll have some plenty of new ideas.
We'll have new teams here. We'll have at least one new team here that we could invite on.
That should be it. The new team will try and get on the show and really dig into what makes them tick as a team. That's the way to do it. For Cabana, it took us a year, but for them, we'll try and get them on pretty much straight away. But we hope you guys have enjoyed tuning in to Breakfast with the Brits. That's me, Des, and Tim. And until next time, stay safe, and we'll speak to you all again soon.